Elevate going to be taking on Cyclone up next here, and we've got a new member on the desk. It is formerly the best solo laner in Europe, now debatably one of the best mid laners. Watson, how's it going for
the
you?
best mid laner.
Oh, the confidence. Okay.
Nice. I like
How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good actually, because I think Saul will definitely to our eager today.
Yeah, that, I mean, you
That's gonna
definitely
be
need that. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, if that tiebreaker match is forced, you got something ready for Eager?
Of course we do.
Okay.
It won't be back though.
It won't be. I do have to ask you, why did you ban away Red Devil's Neath, man? Why'd you have to do that to
we
him?
We were scared, honestly.
Were you actually scared? You first picked Izanami, though.
We've been that was our niche pick.
Okay. Bring it out to versus the match versus Excel. But we do have, again, Elevate going to be taking on Cyclone here. Both these teams, I think they showed promise here in points. Obviously, it's not been able to work out for them, but mostly looking at Elevate, I think KeegsMate has really been a standout player.
He's been doing a good job from the last play when he was a hunter, you know, transitioning back into the mid lane. But now going back into the hunter for this weekend, he's been performing pretty well, playing very confidently, I would say, for his team.
And here you got Cyclone on your screen. Ezzuna in the solo lane. He is not jungle. Sorry about that. But DineOhSaw in the Guardian role. I mean, he's been the kind of highlight star for this Cyclone lineup. He's a jungler playing the support role.
Yeah, DineOhSaw has just been doing such a good job being the front man, and I think that they rely very heavily on DineOhSaw for their plays.
Definitely, he's the most aggressive support in EU by far, and loves his warriors and Guardian.
What's it like playing against him? I mean, do you always have to be aware of what he's doing?
Yeah, you've got to play really far back, because he will make level 3 rotations a lot. Like nearly every scrim we played against, there was a level 3 rotation to mid.
It's not easy to deal with. I mean, how's the transition, how's the transition to mid been for you? You know, you've matched up against Bloakley, the mid laner for Cyclone, a couple times. Kind of, what's that dynamic?
My transition was quite good actually, because on PC I played a lot of mages. It was back in the solo meta where you could play mages.
Yep.
So I'd say my transition's been pretty good actually.
And how do you feel about Bloakley on Cyclone?
I feel like he's a good player. He likes his hunters in the mid role.
Who do you think is going to take this one? Just before we get into picks and bans, what are your thoughts on that?
I want EU to go in, of course. You've got
Gotta find some wins here. And again, KeegsMate gonna be the hunter for Elevate. I mean, he's individually, totally, he's been performing fantastic.
He's always been performing fantastic because he likes to be looking for the duels. He's known for that duel player from the PC side of things, just doing a great job. I think he's like one of the top grandmasters in that league, and now transitioning here on the console side of things, just being able to play very aggressively in that hunter position.
Yeah, but he does have, there are some negatives to that, right? It's not just a single lane for Keegs. He's got a whole team to deal with here, and his teams come, they're not going to qualify for SWC, but still trying to find a win before they leave.
KeegsMate, Mr. Dog Filter of the Fiji water. What can I say about KeegsMate, man? He's a mechanical genius, I guess. I mean, playing on PC, maybe it would be a different story. But he's good at the game. If he gets his dedication up there to like Chapo level, I think, we'd have a new Andinster. He's too busy sipping Fiji and G Fuel and whatever else he's doing with his free time.
So Transonics and Keegs have a lot of beef going on in the scene, and Trans always wants to prove himself against Keegs, so I'm excited to see him play.
KeegsMate, my hunter, difficult to play with sometimes, but overall really talented player. If we could just keep him in position.
KeegsMate, what a character! Sleeps through our land, so we can't get to Summerland. And then make sure to practice extremely hard with his team to get through the gauntlet to make it to land. That pretty much sums up Keegs in a nutshell right there. But what a guy.
Do you like KeegsMate?
What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy.
I still remember that. That was, I mean, to be fair, it was Soar in I think it was their final week, right? Their last chance to qualify for the Summerland, and then Keegs just sleeps through it.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the games in between there. They were one game shy of making the SCL Summerland, so very unfortunate set of circumstances for Soar in that last play.
I can't even
over there just waving.
He is, Aggro was a result of that too. He was the mid laner for Soar back then. Thankfully, though, they have a world-class team that qualified. Nowadays, into picks and bans, though, Odin and Ra going to be taken out by Elevate. On the other side, Terra and Ao Kwang. And Elevate gonna highlight Jing, Watson.
That is Cyclone. No Styley's like most picked god. He's performs really well in this, so I think it was a good choice from Elevate.
Why does he like Jing so much?
I just think it's the Fatalis effect after the dash. You just stick onto people and you can't like box a Fatalis Jing. It's impossible.
And Cyclone here gonna draft Zeus and Nemesis, and we've seen actually this combo work out. I mean, just for ALG in the last set, it's a lot of damage setup. I mean, you steal those protections, you steal a good portion of their health, and then Zeus, who already does a high amount of damage, doesn't need nearly as much to find the kill.
Trying to find maybe Jing, locking her down as quickly as possible, maybe forcing an early ultimate in the team fight. But it's also going to make it very tricky for Elevate, Rippin, Holz to look for any aggressive plays, because assuming he'll play, like, let's say, Athena or Bacchus, once he goes in, there's going to be that Nemesis and Zeus waiting for him just to burst him down.
Tier going to be locked in, and there's that Athena from Rippin Holz. We've seen him perform pretty well on it. It seems to be a very comfortable pick for him, Watson.
Yeah, Athena's like the strongest Guardian if played properly. If you can engage, get the beads, and get out again, she is the strongest Guardian by far. If you can re-engage, get the taunt, which is the best CC in the game, and set up nearly any mage ability.
It's going to be a little bit harder for him this time, though, obviously, because they do have that Nemesis, so something that, obviously, he's going to have to be very aware of.
Very aware.
So something he could do to adapt to that is sometimes high-level Athena players will opt to go for a blink initiation with the taunts just to be able to dash away from danger.
Bacchus going to be locked in there. Really solid 3v3 core coming out for Cyclone. Zeus, Nemesis, and Bacchus. A lot of kill potential.
Yeah, that's what they really want to do in these little 3v3 skirmishes between their support, jungle, and mid. Set up the mid laner for a lot of this kill potential, especially playing the Zeus. There's just a lot of easy setup off of the flop, off of the burp, belly stun.
How would you like to see Cyclone round out their lineup, Watson?
I'd like to see maybe an Arnher and some early pressure in both side lanes to see if they can try and snowball this.
Just try and go for that early game.
Because Cyclone's a very momentum-based team. If they get tilted, they'll probably lose this one. So,
do you try and tilt them? I feel like you would try. Who tilts the most on Cyclone?
Probably Hyperionnn, honestly. I can just
destroy him in the jungle.
And maybe Ezzuna as well.
And I got to ask you, because Hyperionnn really hasn't had the best showing this LAN. Is this him not performing at LAN? There are those players that come in, and there's a lot that excel at LAN, that play twice as good, but then every once in a while there's those people that can't live up to it.
I feel like it was the role swap a day before the actual LAN.
Yeah.
He played jungle against us like for 2 weeks before this LAN, and then swapped to played mid, and then went to jungle before this LAN, which is quite confusing. But so I think he's just new to the role, very new to the role.
It hasn't been working out for him, but it's not going to be an on her just yet. It will be a Guan Yu locked in, and actually, Guan Yu kind of not making a big appearance here.
No, not at all. And surprisingly enough, they elected to lock in the Guan Yu now, despite having the second pick. So they could have opted to allow more of a waiting time, right? They didn't want to get countered too hard, because I guess they already know that it's going to be tier in the soul lane, but there's a lot of options for the jungle for Reminisst if he wants to really look for a lot of gank potentials, because Sercat is available, and that would be a huge counter.
The biggest thing for me is going to be this jungle matchup between Elevate and Cyclone. You talked about Reminisst, but it feels like he's been playing relatively passively and reactive this entire tournament. And it's kind of the same thing with Hyperionnn.
Absolutely. Both of these junglers are sort of waiting a little bit too long for these opportunities to get off, and that's not something you really want to do for either side, because Elevate's been known to play aggressive for the most part, but Reminisst hasn't had that same impact for them.
Honestly, the drafts from both teams look great right now. Watson, talk to me about Elevates with this Thor Chronos.
I don't like that Chronos pick, honestly. I don't know if it's going to be ADC or mid, but there's just not going to be a lot of follow-up from that Athena taunt. So the Athena will most likely die if she goes for the dash taunt, especially against Cyclone's comp.
Totally.
I think that there's a decent amount of setup for whoever is going to be in the mid lane between this Thor and Athena. The damage is going to get online a little bit later than early, so Elevate's going to have to playing off more of their abilities, making sure that they connect every single chain CC.
And last pick is going to be Ram for Cyclone. Watson, break this down for me.
I would have much preferred to see an Arnher, but Styley has been known to play this Rama a lot, and he does hit the snaps.
More of a comfort pick for him?
Yeah.
Who do you got in this matchup, though? Elevate or Cyclone?
Cyclone, of course.
That seemed biased, man. That seemed biased. Okay, totally.
I actually have to give it to Cyclone as well. They have the Guan Yu for the sustain. They have the Nemesis all-in potential, and if they can't find a kill in the Nemesis, they have the Ram snipes just to be able to secure that one.
Honestly, I think both team comps are amazing. It seems to be pick versus control here. I got to follow suit. I think EU's going to pull out this one, but it's going to be a close match either way. We got two casters standing by. It's going to be Aggro and Tiger to bring you the action.
Thanks, Adonis. Maybe a little bit of bias on the desk, but with Cyclone and Elevate, only one team's going to be able to win this first one, and the matchups are looking pretty nice.
For me, it comes down to how well can this be the Keegs show for Elevate? They first pick him Jing. This is the best player in this matchup, I think, across both teams. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, Keegs likes to try and play hero ball. This could be an opportunity for him to actually succeed doing so.
He had some pretty hype plays yesterday against Allegiant, so it's really just going to come down to, is he going to be able to show up, and is the rest of the team going to be able to as well? You don't want to get shut out.
I mean, that was a great point that Watson brought up, though, is that there isn't a whole lot of follow-up off this Athena taunt.
Yeah.
And especially with Bacchus, where Bacchus can just belly flop over the initiation and get right up into Chronos. It can make life difficult for him. In fact, actually, it's going to be Chronos in the Hunter role. It's going to be Jing middle for Jumpahhh. So Jumpahhh has moved roles a lot recently for Elevate. He's been mid now. He was jungle initially. He went to ADC for a little bit. So with him being ADC, last I heard, that's where I expected him to be whenever they came to land here. He's probably been practicing Jing a decent amount, so he could be pretty comfortable on this god in the mid lane.
I hope he's comfortable because he's going up against another completely competent team. These guys want to get at least 1 point under their belt, even though they're not going to be able to go to Worlds.
That's the big thing, is you want to, just see how you can continue. You want to continue to grow synergy with your teammates going into next season. You want to be able to make sure that you're as comfortable as possible here on land. And exactly like you said, you don't want to go home without a point. You got to get a win here.
Exactly. I mean, everybody's gonna be ripping India otherwise. I would like to see a little bit more magic damage coming out. I mean, Keegs with the Chronos is probably terrifying, but it's not enough in my opinion. I wanted to see a bunch of bursts. I wanted to see some Scylla. I wanted to see a Raijin, something.
It doesn't have the burst, like you mentioned, but Keegs is very, very comfortable on this Chronos. Like it was alluded to on the desk, Keegs is a Joust player. He likes to play the duel. Chronos, obviously a high tier pick in duel, so you know that Keegs has a lot of practice on it. And I can tell you just from experience from being on a team with Keegs, he definitely loves to play this Chronos.
Well, no crazy starts just yet. Gonna head to mid, easy peasy. Jing gonna get there a little bit earlier, start up the clear, but how's it gonna go against Bloakley with this Zeus?
Zeus is gonna be able to out-clear Jing early on. It takes a couple of levels for that Persistent Gust to full clear wherever you put it. Plus, the Jing has to be there early in order to make sure that it's hitting the entire wave. Whereas Zeus can just kind of walk up, throw that shield, and auto it a couple times.
I like the placement with Reminisst, making sure that the spin to win is going to get a little bit of extra damage, but Keegs taking a bit for himself. The sprint going to be popped just to make him run away from Styley and DineOhSaw.
That's a big win right there for Cyclone, getting that important defensive relic out. In fact, Mr. McWafflez actually in a ton of trouble. The slow is going to guarantee the hits from Bloakley, the mid lane Zeus with the first blood.
First blood gonna go down, and Hyperionnn does not want to follow suit. Gonna go ahead and dash away, but very good plays coming through. Lots of aggression coming out from Cyclone.
I like it. This is exactly what you have to do up against a defensive composition like Elevate has drafted, at least early on. Bloakley in a little bit of trouble getting the autos from Jumpahhh, who dashed forward. Reminisst has the hammer, and that's gonna do it.
Doesn't have the escape. Thor gonna find another kill, this time for Elevate, and now Hyperionnn, all by his lonesome, forced to try and clear this and still not balk from the pressure. KeegsMate feeling the pressure again, but nice CC coming through. Gonna try and chunk DineOhSaw. Doesn't have any mana to follow up.
He gets the purification though, does DineOhSaw, and that's the aggressiveness that Watson was talking about. This is the most aggressive support in Europe. We've seen him on the Erlong Shen. That's the kind of gods he likes to play. He's on this Bacchus, and it's showing early. It's been Keegs on the back foot the entire time in this lane.
Bacchus was made for DineOhSaw, especially with the knock-up. He loves to just jump in, knock up, burn these beads, or burn the health bar down. He's going to jump, not connect with KeegsMate, but looking for the stun instead.
He's going to find the stun. No purification, remember. DineOhSaw, great body blocks. It's going to be the autos through the support. Can't body block those arrows. No Styley picks up the kill.
These one-for-nothing trades are working well for each team, but it's going to have to get a little bit more than that to start inching their way into the lead. But right now, Cyclone have that extra kill over, so a little bit extra gold.
And that's a good thing. I mean, you definitely want to be keeping this Chronos down in the duo lane. That's the big thing. Like I mentioned, this game for me is going to be how well can Keegs kind of carry the rest of Elevate. And if you're putting focus on him, if you're DineOhSaw and you're spending a lot of time in that duo lane, getting the purification, getting the kill for your hunter, that's going to make it even harder for Keegs to do what he wants.
You should treat Chronos like Freya. Essentially, they work the exact same way. Shut them down early so they're not as big of an issue, and then at that point, when they finally do hit their stride, your league's above them.
That's the plan. In an ideal world, you don't want to let a Chronos or a Freya get free farm until they get 3-4 items online, because by that time, it's probably too late, unless, like you mentioned, you've got a big level lead or something along those lines.
All right, liking the sustain coming out from both warriors over in the solo lane. Haven't talked much about them, which is fine. I want to see their presence show up later on in these big team fights.
But it's good for Cyclone that they got that early first blood onto Mr. McWafflez, because just allowing Ezzuna to play this lane kind of passively or not have any worry about any rotations because he's got enough levels and farm to kind of shrug off any sort of gank attempts from Elevate. That's really great, because if you can get Guan Yu into the late game, that in itself is a win condition. That sustain is absolutely a way that you can win the game as Cyclone. You're willing to trade off poke. You can siege forever, that conviction heal. We talk about it all the time, how strong it can be whenever you get to the late game team fights. It's just a matter of getting there.
And you've already hit that first milestone of that 2.5 minute where if a jungler is going to come gank, it's going to happen that early on. Reminisst hopping into the air, looking for a target, not going to find it, just checking out where everybody is and then letting the rest of Elevate know.
But I've got no problem with that ultimate, because like they mentioned on the desk, I mean, Reminisct has been very reactive and at least trying to push the tempo a little bit with that ultimate. I like the idea, just didn't work out.
Ezzuna on the side, wanting to come on in. The team's looking to pinch instead, gonna get spin to wind out, gonna dash right back in and heal right on up. Nothing's gonna connect except for the wing gust now. The Nemesis ultimate coming through, and Bloakley gonna be able to rip through Rippin holes.
Ezzuna was just there to distract Elevate from those mid camps, to allow his team to do them, but Rippin holes still had his eyes on the soul laner the whole time. The mid camps are already gone. The rest of Cyclone pushes up. Perfect synergy between the flop, the Nem ult, and the Zeus ult. Great timing. Cyclone picks up their third kill of the game.
Great use of misdirection and just being a big distraction. All it took was just him dashing around, avoiding a lot of damage. Nice Reminisct finding 3 in the double tap. Very good play, but still not going to be able to lock down the experience camps.
Yeah, it was a big play, and he could have gone in. It would have been risky, but if Rippin was communicating him that ultimate was coming, could have been big. Speaking of coming, on this left-hand side, it's going to be Elevate coming to gank no Styley.
Nice wing guts,
Great
nice
wall.
Not going to be able to go down, and as soon as he comes down from that ultimate, they're going to be able to completely rip him out, but instead Hyperionnn is here to help with the defense.
No ultimate there from Jumpahhh. Could have used airstrike to try and get underneath that tower and get out safely. Instead wants to play it safe, and they drop the kill. Perfect wall from Reminisct, but just not quite enough damage yet to finish off that kill on no Styley.
That would have been huge, though. Taking out no Styley would have taken a lot of pressure off of Keegs, who's already died. You want to get that Chronos ahead, or at least on par with no Styley on that ROM.
Absolutely, and that's why you saw the rotation coming over there. Keegs is doing it all by himself, though, trying to get this kill on the DineOhSaw, but not going to be able to find either of his abilities. DineOhSaw puts on the juke shoes.
Styley's going to come back knocking. At that point, you go ahead and get out of dodge. The last thing you want to do is get soloed. You're already 0-1 and 0. The last thing you need is to have another kill onto you as that Chronos.
Exactly, and it's just waiting to the late game like we talked about. You just have to just play patient, especially whenever you know you're going to get ganks like he did earlier on. That one didn't work out, but you know that opportunity is going to be there. No Styley has to recognize that he was playing a little bit too far forward. He got lucky with getting out that time, but he cannot allow that to happen again, because that's an easy way for Keegs to get back into this game.
I love the wards that are peppered all over this map. You can see just giant clumps of them coming through the middle part of the map. Just having that vision and knowing these rotations, both of these teams are pretty dang evenly matched. Cyclone taking 2 kills up, but still Elevate keeping them on their toes.
And that's no surprise. I mean, we've seen that North America has looked like the stronger region again here at LAN, but Cyclone looks to try and turn that around. Elevate was the Gauntlet team, so this is the team to do it against.
I mean, and they're doing a good job thus far looking at this Gold Fury, but Rippin hole's gonna find a nice 2-man taunt. Reminisct crashing down, looking for no Styley in the backline. The Zeus ultimate has been dropped, and now there's nobody to peel except for Hyperionnn. Nice ultimate coming out from Jumpahhh just to try and get away, but he does have the, nope, not gonna have the
Not enough movement speed to get out of there. Now Ezzuna in a bad spot. No cavalry charge available for him. Also very low on mana.
Why
Looks
didn't
like
he detonate?
He wasn't able to find it, man. Just couldn't. You saw Jumpahhh goes in there. Bloakley not on the same page as the rest of his team. Drops the ultimate on the Gold Fury, trying to burn it when the rest of his team was running away. Also not on the same page was Reminisct and Rippin holes. Rippin finds a great ton on that Gold Fury, and then you see Reminisct dropping down behind him, splits the team fight. Jumpahhh wants to go for Bloakley, but Bloakley's got Hyperionnn there to help him out, and just a little bit too much aggression there from Jumpahhh.
All you had to do was detonate, buddy, but gonna have that missed kill opportunity instead. More clear out in the mid lane. Jumpahhh gonna be safe behind that agility.
That's one of the great things about Jingwei in the mid lane is that you're very safe, unless you go really ham like Jumpahhh tried to do by that Gold Fury. But you've got the airstrike, you've got the agility. You can take a lot of poking back. You're not worried about the damage that Zeus is going to be poking you out with because you are Jingwei, and you can use that rapid reincarnation passive to get back to lane very quickly.
Gust is just completely OP. You're going to be able to use that. Just drop it under somebody, get the knock-up. Put it in front of somebody, get the knock-up. And then if Jumpahhh ever suffers a knock-up himself, just use that to get out. But Jumpahhh, really, I want him to set the pace of this mid lane, and then from then on, give the junglers a little bit more room to set the pace for the rest of the lanes. Because right now, I'm not really seeing anything from Jumpahhh.
I mean, he's top of the player damage charts right now. Does have the 1 death and the assist on the only kill that Elevate has. But I mean, it's gonna take a little bit for it to go. Reminisst gonna eat the Zeus ult, but the flop was off the mark from DineOhSaw. Snipes coming in, but now they're targeted on Rippin holes. Bloakley gets the last hit.
And now that opens up the Gold Fury. Cyclone gonna go ahead and start up once again. Chronos and Jingwei are nearby, but not gonna be anywhere near enough. Gold Fury going to fall very quickly, and Cyclone taking the first one of the game.
And this seems to be a recurring theme for Elevate. It's Rippin's on a different page than everyone else. He's getting good initiation sometimes, and other times he's just in the wrong spot. We saw earlier on the right-hand side, that kill, whatever, the rest of Cyclone was on mid-harpies, and Rippin's kind of caught sleeping in that right side jungle. There, just on a different page than the rest of his team, caught in a bad spot, and the rest of Cyclone able to pick him up. And because of that pick, it opens up the Gold Fury. There was no Wrath for Cyclone there at that Gold Fury. It's Ezzuna who has it on the right-hand side, but still, with how healthy they all were, with that many abilities still available to them, there's no way that Elevate could have gotten in there and contested.
Nope, no aggression. At that point, you don't want to lose yourself in the fight as well. But 10 minutes in, 1-5, stay in the kills. The first Gold Fury has gone to Cyclone, which does pump the gold about 2,000 in their favor. KeegsMate doing a good job of keeping Styley at bay, but Styley not going to get caught out himself that easy.
This is what Keegs wants. He wants to just stay in this lane by himself and bait Styley into boxing him. You can see he's finished off that Doom Orb now, sitting at 35 stacks. Not going for the defensive Dynasty Plate Helm, going instead for this damage-oriented build. And I like the idea because, like I said, this is Elevate's win condition. It's Keegs in the late game, and if you can kind of accelerate yourself towards that, you put yourself in a good spot.
So we're watching Reminisst right now, level 9 to the level 11 Nemesis. He has a global ultimate. We're still going to be able to find it. Nice 3-man knockup into the Intoxicate, but they're going to be able to run away just fine. Cyclone don't want to chase too hard, especially into the tower.
Sprint popped there by Rippin holes, gets them out of danger. Great initiation, though, from DineOhSaw yet again, and he has really impressed me so far this weekend. I loved his play.
He's been very aggressive, but very, I guess, calculated in the sense too. Nice 2-man taunt into the shield wall, into the tectonic rift, and into the double tap.
But the conviction heal makes it all basically worthless.
Exactly.
I mean, you've got a ton of abilities on cooldown now, whereas Guan Yu's still completely full health.
But they spent so much to get that done. I mean, it's not that, I mean, they're not ultimates or anything, but it's taking that much just to wombo combo, get a little bit of health that's just going to get healed right back up from conviction.
And Ezzuna's done a great job with this lead he got early on, now sitting up about 700 gold in this solo lane, about a level in experience as well. And look at this, evading the blue buff. It is going to be McWafflez able to secure it with that Fearless, but still, this is the bully mentality whenever you're not supposed to be the bully. I mean, Guan Yu's supposed to be the one who's getting his blue buff stolen, the one who's, trying to secure it over the enemy solo laner, not the other way around.
No, I like seeing it though. Ezzuna doing a very good job, and when he hits these rotations, I mean, that's what he was known for since the first week of the SCL. But nice DineOhSaw gonna take a lot of damage, and now KeegsMate not gonna let him go that easy. Gonna heal right back up with that rewind, and Jumpahhh coming in from the side.
Snipes going up for Styley. He's gonna look at Jumpahhh, hits the first 2, looking for the third, gonna be off the mark, but Bloakley is here, as is Hyperionnn. He picks up Jumpahhh.
Coming out right from the middle of nowhere. Now it's gonna be a good ultimate, but a great taunt coming out from the Athena as well. Styley gonna take advantage of the tower, but for just a second, beautiful Fearless from McWafflez gonna be able to take out Bloakley.
Keegs still pushing forward now that he has his solo laner here to assist him, forces Ezzuna up onto the horse. Nice rotation there from McWafflez, perfectly timed. Lawbringer over the wall. Great double taunt from Rippin holes, gets 2 sets of purification.
Those purifications down is absolutely huge. And look at Reminisst, gonna crash into the tower, but not anywhere near where he needs to be. It was a little bit out of range, but still, he was ready to follow up, which is the right mindset. Unfortunately, a little out of the practice.
DineOhSaw now chasing some members of Elevate away from the Gold Fury pit. Just being level 10 right now. He's gone for the penetration boots. And I really like that option because we've talked a lot about how aggressive he is, you know, how much he likes to be one of the primary damage dealers. And look, he is the primary damage dealer right now for Cyclone on top of the damage charts.
And it's just chugging along. You don't really think about KeegsMate until he's already there. You don't think about this Chronos until he's in the middle of the fight, completely chunking you for half your health. And because that one death hasn't stumped him, he's just going to keep growing, especially with those 50 stacks on his Doom Orb.
Going for an attack speed build right now. Could be Telkines, could be Demonic Grip. Either one synergizes well here. I don't have a problem with either one, though. Being the only magical damage dealer, Demonic Grip probably could be one of your better options. I mean, you need some penetration early on. You'd still probably need the Obsidian Shard, but you'll have to see how Cyclone's going to be building, because if they're going to really stack that physical defense, because you do have, you know, 3 physical damage dealers as usual in a regular team comp, it means that you can kind of get away with going for a more straight up damage build outside of penetration. And you could see Telkine's Ring going to be the choice here. A little bit cheaper, a little bit more efficient in the early game, getting that extra damage on every single auto attack. But it means that Keegs is going to need to build into something like an Obsidian Shard to get that penetration.
Should Keegs stick with the team in these big groups when it comes to now the roaming phase, or do you still want him over in the lane continuing to farm?
I want one more item for Keegs. I want an Obsidian Shard before he starts coming into these fights, because once he gets that Op Shard, it's going to mean that he can shred towers very well, and it's just going to up his overall damage. Plus, it's not that expensive. You're only looking at 2,050 gold in order to grab that 70 power and 33% magical pen.
Cyclone want this Gold Fury, but no real retaliation coming out from Elevate just yet. I don't know if they think it's a bait or if they don't want to take the bait.
They just don't have the ward coverage, so they're being patient, and I like that. I love the ward coverage from Cyclone overall. You can see top left Harpies, Cyclone's got it sentry warded. Even on the top side of the Gold Fury, hugging that wall, a place that you'll see a lot of teams ward with a regular ward because you don't expect it. They've got that sentry warded. They've got the Gold Fury sentry warded. And overall, both teams buying a ton of wards. You can see it on that wards place list. I mean, it's littered with them. But the 2 supports, as you'd expect, right on top. The big difference, though, is that no Styley is doubling up on Keegs in the ward department. 6 to Keegs' 3.
And vision is absolutely imperative. We probably would have seen something happen at that Gold Fury if vision had been lacking. So instead, you want to know exactly where these teams are. You've been able to watch these guys for 7-8 weeks coming through, whether it's the gauntlet or just the normal scene. So you have to know that they're going to try and play stuff.
Beads Force on the left-hand side. No Styley going aggressive. Forces out the Rewind and the Athena ultimate. That's kind of a wash. You're getting 2 ultimates for your purification. He's in a bit of danger now to the Athena taunt, but Keegs doesn't have that ultimate, neither does Rippin.
But the fight still continues around this Gold Fury. They want to make something happen out of it. Reminisst getting absolutely chunked by Ezzuna, and now that's going to open up the Gold Fury possibly. Let's listen in with Cyclone as they try to take the stage.
Back in the back. I'm on. Okay, let's back out. Yeah, let's bait gold, Bait gold.
No, not bait, just do it.
Yeah. We still have Zeus. We can still fight them. Guys, fight them. Chronos.
Fight! Man, come on, Jing way!
They're gonna make...
Jing way! That's Jing way out!
I'm trying to help them. Cheer me.
Help Styley.
Aye. Kill him.
Hey, he's slow.
Jing way.
I got nothing. I got a back.
Chronos.
Ah, unlucky.
Fucking hell, man.
Okay, Thea, we need, I know you're hyped, but you can't just drop your ult on nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna fight, sorry.
Things were looking in Cyclone's favor, but instead a complete turn by Elevate in that Steel Series listen in. Now they're looking at the Gold Fury.
DineOhSaw here with Ezzuna. Ezzuna still has Wrath, but he doesn't have his life anymore. Mr. McWafflez, despite the early first blood that he gave up, despite the fact that it was him losing pressure in that solo lane, he has come up big in these team fights, really been making an impact on this tier 3, 1, and 2. You saw him go deep there, grab no Styley around the backside while Cyclone pushes forward on the rest of his team, and then just stays alive, uses the defensive power cleave very well to heal, and then gets the double fearless, sets up for Keegs to get his double kill. Love the play, and Cyclone is so close to being able to take games like this, but you can see the inexperience. One of them saying, we can just do gold, we have Wrath, while the others are saying, we need to fight. Bloakley drops the ult on for 1 tick onto a Chronos. I mean, that's not going to work out in your favor. Cyclone just not all on the same page right now.
A little bit of Caster's Curse, a little bit of Land Jitters too, just a little bit of an experience all across the board. But either way, you make the best with what's due. You stop the Gold Fury for either team. Nobody's been able to sniff at it quite yet, but I'm sure Elevate are going to be looking over that way here very soon.
Kind of surprised that we didn't see Elevate continue to push onto that Gold Fury. They were pretty low, and remember, they don't have the sustain. It is on the side of Cyclone. They get the pick onto Ezzuna and back up and elect to farm, and I like that call as well. Either one really could have gone their way.
Yeah, but without that pressure, it's going to be much harder to try and get another Gold Fury, even attempt. But KeegsMate going to try to keep farming. You want that last item coming out through, and, you know, kill on Styley would definitely help with that, getting absolutely chunked, trying to chase him down, and now Athena channeling the ultimate as well.
There it is. He doesn't even need the Athena ultimate. Keegs finds a solo kill, and then ults in celebration, I suppose.
Celebration, man, get hyped for that. Oh, Zeus ultimate coming down as well. Rippin holes, taking a couple of charges, but here comes Reminisst. Spin to win in the backline. Keegs, Jumpahhh, both finding a kill for themselves. Hyperionnn trying to dash away, able to get around the rock, but at this point, Elevate doing great work.
And a 3-man stun there for Keegs as they're coming out of the jungle. Perfectly peels for Rippin holes, who the rest of Cyclone was going heavy onto. Reminisst can't find the ult, but then Rippin dashes forward, gets a 2-man taunt, and this is the game plan. Just let Keegs take the keys and drive the car, man. He's sitting at 18,000 player damage almost already, almost 10K up on the next highest member.
Strap on the backpack, buddy. You're already halfway there. 19 minutes and 40 seconds in. 9 to 8 read the kills. Pretty dang close game if you ask me. Only a couple hundred separating the two when it comes to gold. Still no Gold Fury in sight, but Ezzuna may become a statistic, forced to dash away, but able to get through that corner of the tectonic rift.
The game is even, but this is definitely in Elevate's favor just because of the way Keegs is playing right now. He's 2 levels up on no Styley. He just gets the solo kill, and then everyone rotates, and he gets even more farm. They need to be worried about how big Keegs is getting right now.
Trying to pick on Reminisst right now. Level 13, 2 levels behind the enemy jungler. Forced him to use his purification. Still has a sanctuary available, but we need to see this Thor come online, get a little bit of extra experience for him.
Reminisst has had a tough game. I mean, he gets killed. That fight by the Gold Fury starts off by him getting picked, throwing the hammer. He needs to be careful.
Just a little bit, but Cyclone looking at this Gold Fury once again. The first time didn't work out so well for them, and now they're Styley gonna still be on it, but then go ahead and unleash it, pull it back in, but Reminisst coming down right in the middle. Spin to win once again, taking a lot of damage coming out from Bloakley, forced to use his last remaining relic, but right into the Ross Snipe. Styley gonna be able to find it.
Now 3-man stun gonna help out for now, but Bloakley's gonna fall for KeegsMate, and the problem is that this Chronos is still healthy, still 2/3 HP, still has the ultimate as well. They find the pick onto Reminisst, but Bloakley gets traded out for it. And again, a great taunt by Rippin, and then the ult from Reminisst is just over the top, just wasn't there.
You gotta stop Keegs. He's gonna be able to shred through this tower like nothing, just like butter. That one's gonna fall. Go ahead and take that aggression to the tier 2 as well. Ezzuna gonna be able to dash out of the taunt, but at this point, not really gonna be able to save himself, or save the tower at least.
Not gonna be able to, like you mentioned. Does force the rewind from Keegs. Nice 2-man fearless from McWafflez. Also creates some separation, but Jumpahh's the one in trouble on these left-hand Harpies. No more Harpies to body block for you, brother. You're going down to no Styley.
Couldn't go anywhere. Jumpahhh gonna fall, and now Styley doesn't want to take that same path himself. McWafflez has a lot of CC in his kit that he just doesn't want to deal with.
And look at the player damage right now. I mean, I know I talked about it going into this game. It's just the Keegs show, man. That's what this game is. He's doubling anyone else's player damage in the game. His own team, his closest teammate is 11,000 damage behind him.
CycloneGG working on this Gold Fury again. Reminisst able to take out Hyperionnn. Now Elevate
gonna
be able to steal it. KeegsMate on fire. Look at him. He's just absolutely on point, stealing that Gold Fury for absolutely nothing. Doesn't even get punished for it.
Welcome to the Keegs show, Cyclone. And what else can you say? I mean, this is the entire game plan for Elevate is just buy time for Keegs to get going, and he's already gone, man. He's already out of the driveway. He's getting this game into Elevate's favor.
As a player, how salty does that make you?
Real salty. Nothing's worse than when you've used ultimates on the Gold Fury, you know, you're around it. Was Ezzuna there with the Wrath? The Wrath's on cooldown. It might have been right there as well. And then just, you know, a slow move. He literally says slow as he throws it out. It's like one of the slowest moving abilities in the game. Steals the Gold Fury from you over the top of the burst from Detonate, and that just cannot happen. That just can't happen.
It's too bad we don't have F. here for his Chronos impression. Either way,
Yeah,
Ezzuna 1v2ing, not going to be able to save this tower. Better to save his own life by backing off. Elevate really starting to look pretty nice in this game.
And that's the second time that Keegs has made a play around the Gold Fury that just baffles my mind. I mean, it was yesterday against Aware where he goes in 1v4 as Freya. No one even looks at him. He steals the Gold Fury and kills someone at the same time. No Styley just did a little rocket jump there, it looked like. Used the ultimate. I don't really know why. Maybe he thought the Thor ult was coming and needed it for the CC immunity, but really Keegs just kind of watched him go up and down.
Up and down. That's how this game has been going thus far. Elevate looking pretty strong, but so are Cyclone finding the first dredges of the game. But now Elevate pulling it back up in their favor 24 minutes in. Even though there's only one kill separating them, about 4,000 gold plus, Elevate have just been outplaying.
The good news for Cyclone is that if you kill Keegs, you win the game. That's literally how this works. I mean, if you look at the player damage charts, I mean, you still have DineOhSaw on top, which should not be happening at 24 minutes at this point. There needs to be more damage coming out from Cyclone, and it needs to be onto Keegs.
My question is, okay, yeah, Keegs is doing a fantastic job with damage, but where the heck is everybody else? Like, we're almost 25 minutes in. They should be over 10,000.
They're actually in the pencil compartment of Keegs' backpack.
Okay.
Yeah, they're zipped nice and tight in there. Yeah.
All right, not going to be able to get out of there until he unzips them. Hopefully he does that soon, because these team fights are only going to get harder and harder for Keegs because everybody else is going to be on the same level soon.
But he does have Rod of Tahuti completed already. I am a little bit concerned about the lack of penetration in his build. He's got none outside of his pen boots right now. So he has to be careful about that. But if you're looking for raw damage, Keegs has plenty of that.
Ezzuna hopping onto the horse, looking for the stun. Not going to be able to find it. The juke shoes onto Keegs.
And this is his focus. Keegs is the focus, but it doesn't matter. He still has the ultimate, still has both relics. But the good news is that Cyclone has that sustain. Keegs is going to have to just hold that damage. Speaking of holding that damage, Ezzuna's got to hold Keegs.
Reminisst was on the forefront of that, however. Styley able to take out Jumpahhh, get a little bit punished for it. But now McWafflez trying to run away. Snipes not going to be good enough. Reminisst popping the Sanctuary, even if that were to hit him. McWafflez looking very low. The jump going to knock him up, and DineOhSaw going to take him down.
Keegs on the retreat, can't do it all by himself this time. 2 members dead on his team. Reminisst forced out as well, very, very low HP. Keegs the only one, he's still sticking around here. He found the son of the Hyperionnn. The shield's gonna buy him some time for now. Keegs still has that rewind, gonna force it now. Almost got the kill actually, Bloakley with that detonate, but they have gotta worry about him here.
CycloneGG, I don't think they were going for the Gold Fury, but or the Fire Giant, but they're fighting in the pit at least. Bloakley not going to be taken down by Keegs, but able to take down Keegs in the process. There he goes. That's the big target. They were all just going for that.
It's finally happened. Keegs has died for the second time this game. Reset those Doom Orb stacks. He does trade out onto Bloakley 1v4, but I don't know. Keegs is worth so much gold at this point that taking that death and giving that away to Cyclone, it probably would have been better for Keegs to just back up, let them, just, if they wanted to start up the Fire Giant, let them just stick around. But like you mentioned, I don't think Cyclone had any intention of doing that FG right there. That was a pure bait onto Keegs. They got him in there. He used the Sanctuary, never even got the Purification off. Just a little bit too much damage coming out of Cyclone.
To be fair, if I'm Cyclone, I wouldn't want to do the Fire Giant if Keegs is alive.
Oh, absolutely not. You can't.
I wouldn't want to do anything if Keegs is alive after that steal.
Exactly, and Jumpahhh has got to be more careful. I mean, he dashes in there, uses the gust, agility's forward, Nem ult, Zeus detonate, dead. I mean, he just exploded. He might have been dead before he hit the ground from the agility. That's how fast he got blown up, and that's his 5th death already on a character that is extremely safe. To have that many deaths at this point in the game
it's pretty
tells
impressive.
You that Jumpahhh needs to change up what he's doing.
Just a smidge, but Mike, so looking at Cyclone, they've been doing very well. They want to finish this out early on, but Elevate, do they want this to drag out, or do they want to go ahead and just nip it in the bud right now?
You want to try and just get to the point where you're level 20 and can deal the same damage as Keegs. I mean, you're never going to get to the exact same amount of damage as Keegs because he's Chronos, and that's what you pick Chronos for, is late game damage. But you want to be able to handle his damage and get your own out. Try and burst him down before he can wipe your whole team, basically.
Gold Fury going to drop once again for CycloneGG. Elevate on the right side, still a little preoccupied with these team fights as well as everything else that is available to take. Nice taunt, keeping DineOhSaw. Nice just everything. They're dishing out so much CC, but he's able to find a 3-man stun. Jumpahhh still going to find the kill. KeegsMate able to find Bloakley, and now we have Reminisst up into the air, crashing down onto Styley, spin to win. Not going to connect, not going to finish him off though because of the Sanctuary. He's going to pop into the air. Beautiful Fearless. There goes Hyperionnn, and there goes Styley.
No one looked at Keegs that entire fight. He comes around the back. DineOhSaw makes a grave error by jumping in to a knock-up immune Thor on mid-Harpies. He immediately gets punished for it, and no one even pays attention to Keegs. Around the backside, wipes the entire team with the help of Tyr.
Phoenix 1 falls. They have 2 towers left on opposite sides. Nobody's going to be back for 7 seconds. That's DineOhSaw, then 10. But after that, you're looking at 25 seconds. Ezzuna, the only live, breathing CycloneGG member on the board right now.
And you see that Elevate can't really do Fire Giant, though, because it is Ezzuna who's up, and he does have the Wrath. Yes, McWafflez has one of his own, but do you really want to leave that up to chance? I like the idea to just push down that middle Phoenix, get those fire waves pushing into the Titan room, put that pressure onto Cyclone. This opens up the map for you now because you can just take that tier 2 tower on the right-hand side. You probably don't think that Cyclone's going to be there to contest that. With only a 4,000 gold lead for you right now, they could, but how much does that 1,500 gold really matter at 29 minutes? Cyclone, the only reason they'd want to defend that tier 2 tower on the right-hand side is that they have somewhere to run if there's a Fire Giant fight and things start going wrong.
And at that point, all Elevate have to do is take down the left Phoenix to make that completely just null, because then their hands would be tied on 2 fronts. Reminisct hopping into the air for zoning, for sight, and for blood if he can find a target. Ezzuna hopping off the cavalry charge. He's going to come right onto Bloakley, spin to win. There goes the relic, burning it down, and Reminisct has done his job.
Bloakley used both actives there, and that was the first time that Reminisct has made a big impact in this game for me. Perfect job. That's exactly why you're picking Thor at this stage in the game. Nice job by him.
But DineOhSaw is here. Gonna try and belly flop in, intoxicate, whatever he can do to interrupt. But Rippin is gonna get stunned out. Ezzuna gonna get stunned as well. Fire Giant is still going, but they're gonna go ahead and let it leash. Styley able to take out KeegsMate, and at that point, that's the nail in the coffin for Elevate this fight.
And Elevate just has to retreat. Their carry is dead. Snipes coming out from no Styley. Can't find all 3 onto Mr. McWafflez, but the rest of Elevate forced to back up, and here comes that sustain from Guan. That's why this pick is so important. You could stick around and stay healthy.
Ezzuna able to heal right back up and heal the rest of his team. Elevate want to get a little bit of a defensive something happening just to make sure Fire Giant doesn't get started up again. Cyclone are going to disperse.
Why? They did it. Like, they finally killed Keegs. You've got the 5v4, and then you just back up. I do not understand this decision-making whatsoever by Cyclone. You want to defend your Titan, I get that, but it's still full health. You can send one person back maybe, but why not defend your Titan by pushing down the tier 2, the 2 towers in the mid lane? You're relieving pressure on that mid Phoenix, you're killing the fire waves, and you're getting that important gold that you need and the levels. Instead, they back up, and that oh so important pick they got on a Keegs means absolutely nothing.
I'm gonna let you continue. Just want to say that they did force out the Bacchus purification. All right, continue.
It just doesn't, I don't know. That's the dream, is that you kill Keegs early in the fight. Keegs has both relics. You still killed him. You did it. You did the thing that you need to do. Now go and win the game by trying to get some towers down. I mean, now Cyclone needs to win multiple team fights still because of the amount of structure still up on the map.
And Keegs is back and now has that penetration with that shard. So now it's going to be even harder to put up with him and deal with what he can dish out. So now they've just completely backed themselves into a corner. CycloneGG had everything laid out for them. So now what's the best course of action, all things considered?
Do the same thing you did last time. Kill Keegs early on, but this time stick around and get something afterwards.
Well, we're going to go ahead and try to defend this tier 2 tower on the solo side. Not a bad move, if I do say so myself. It's up to Elevate to find that right opening, and honestly, it's really up to Rippin to find that taunt. Going to find it onto DineOhSaw. The nice push to separate him from the rest of his team, using that jump and using the dunk.
DineOhSaw just couldn't get away. Now Jumpahhh underneath this tier 2 tower. Bloakley had to defend the middle Phoenix, but the tier 2 tower falls anyways. DineOhSaw in the wrong aggressive position that time, and he pays for it.
You've got like 5 seconds before Keegs completely shreds through the objective. So now that 5 seconds was up, and taking out DineOhSaw was the only real thing that was going to keep KeegsMate out because of the heavy CC coming out from that Bacchus. The Phoenix going to get aggressed upon on the right. We're going to go ahead and take down that one in the middle to continue the carnage. Nice stun coming out from Ezzuna over on the right-hand side. Relics are being popped, especially the Sanctuaries, but they're not going to be useful for much longer.
No, Styley needs to find one more shot, cannot yet again. Reminisst gets out with just a sliver of HP. Weakened middle Phoenix falls a second time to the damage from the rest of Elevate. And there, DineOhSaw just gets CC chained to death. It's taunt into stop time, into fearless, and then he flops away, but Anvil of Dawn's waiting for him as soon as he hits the ground.
Nice Lawbringer over the wall. Hyperionnn forced to double dash away from McWafflez. Fearless gonna miss onto Ezzuna, and instead, it's just this big brawl fight. DineOhSaw jumping in, pops the Purification. I guess he was scared, and now that's gonna be gone, but Styley gonna make Jumpahhh gone as well. Just take him out.
Love the positioning from No Styley there, waiting for Jumpahhh on the other side. Reinitiation there from Elevate was just a little bit too much. They wanted to keep the tempo going, kept trying to push forward, but the rest of Cyclone was there and healthy. DineOhSaw had respawned, was able to find the flop initiation, but now it might be Hyperionnn who stayed a little bit too long.
McWafflez not gonna be able to get close enough to make something happen. Instead, gonna get jumped on, or at least jumped at. KeegsMate gonna be able to rip through No Styley, completely erase his health, and now DineOhSaw feeling the CC chain for days.
Yet again, and Keegs just found No Styley alone. As soon as DineOhSaw went in to try and do damage, Keegs says, oh, your hunter's alone, and he kills him right away. Now Keegs, despite being half health, just gas pedaling forward, but he bit off a little bit too much. Look at where the rest of Keegs' team is. They're back by the Fire Giant. Keegs is up by the blue buff and gets exploded.
There was no follow-up that would have been able to come out of Elevate, so now, once again, even though his player damage makes everybody else's look like chump change, CycloneGG have done exactly what they need. But in order to benefit from this, they have to do something. Do something, Cyclone.
It's your time. Now is your time to do something. They do have to wait a little bit longer for No Styley to respawn. He's their main source of tower damage. Looks like an Odysseus bow coming out here for Hyperionnn on this Nemesis. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen a Nemesis by Odysseus bow.
What's that gonna give her? Like, what's that gonna do for her?
AoE teamfight damage is the idea, but as Nemesis, if you're trading autos, you're probably dying, because you can see he really doesn't have a whole lot of defense. It's only that Bulwark of Hope that gives him any sort of protection or health. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I like the Brawlers.
I like the Brawlers as well. I think that, a Wind Demon there, you can try and just roll the dice for a crit and kind of snowball a team fight off of that. Plus you're getting extra power whenever you use your ultimate. Attack speed, just not something that you usually see built on Nemesis, because you're trying to just one-shot someone after you use your ult.
Nice double tap. Not really gonna be able to capitalize on anything, but Reminisct on those flashy plays with the Tectonic Rift and double tap. Ripping holes, looking to try and set something up. Sees McWafflez over on the side. Nice two-man taunt, but no follow-up coming out from Waffles quite yet.
Love the patience from Hyperionnn to not blow the Purification there. He was in no danger, and he knew it. Now Mr. McWafflez has to back up. A little bit of poke onto him, but he can just go to lane and heal that up off of some minions. And that poke that Reminisced did earlier just completely negated by that Conviction heal yet again. Can we check in on the healing that Ezzuna has done this game, please? Yeah, 14,000. That's very, very high. Definitely, but Fire Giant going to be started up again by Elevate. I feel like both of these teams have benefits and losses when it comes to this game. They've been so up and down, but now we're getting to that bare bone Smite where everything is going to be even. Gold and experience. That's not going to matter. Fire Giant going to get leashed again, but no real fight yet. Elevate could have taken that for sure. They expected Cyclone to come in and contest, but Cyclone was not in the right position, but Elevate just let it drop. They were just expecting it to come in from Cyclone. They did get the cavalry charge out from Ezzuna, which means his Fire Giant contestation, will be significantly weaker now. Cyclone are fine buying time. Their middle Phoenix just respawned, and at that point, if they can keep Elevate here as long as possible, that's less damage onto that Phoenix, but the Fire Giant is falling. 15% left. Looking for it. Elevate gonna be able to steal it or keep it for themselves, but the snipes coming through. Styley able to take out Jumpahhh. KeegsMate finds Hyperionnn in the backside, though. Keegs separated by himself. Stop me if you've heard that one before. Athena ult coming down, trying to help him out while the rest of the team is getting pushed back by No Styley. That was it. It was a 1-for-1 trade.
Hyperionnn dies, Jumpahhh dies, but McWafflez, Reminisst, Rippin, KeegsMate, they all have the Fire Giant buff now. So the Phoenix is good. It's going to get up to about half health before everybody else starts looking at it. But CycloneGG, what can they do now, considering almost everybody's got this buff? We're 37, almost 38 minutes in.
Just play defense and make sure Keegs isn't left alone, because he's going to put himself alone a lot of the time. I like the idea to try and do the Gold Fury, get enough gold to finish off some of your later game items. You can see Bloakley still working that Rod of Tahuti. DineOhSaw probably going for a Mantle of Discord there, last item, so he needs a little bit more gold as well. The Gold Fury could have helped out 2 of your teammates. The rest of them are full build, but they, as soon as Elevate show up, they back off, give it up. The right call. Keegs full build right now, so he doesn't need to back and buy anything else. Jumpahhh, even though he did die there, he's just respawned, and with that rapid reincarnation passive is going to be able to get here fairly quickly in order to help the team push down their last remaining tower on the left-hand side.
I gotta say, I like the call from Ezzuna. He didn't have the Wrath. He turned the corner, saw the Gold Fury happen, decided to go ahead and back off, head back to base, and start this defense at the last remaining tower for CycloneGG, the tier 2 on the left-hand side.
I really don't think that Cyclone should be defending this tower, though. I mean, what does 1,500 gold give Elevate at this point? Basically nothing. You want the stronger defense option. You want it farther away from their base, and you want the extra damage the Phoenix is going to provide you.
Either way, they decided it fit to defend for a little while, but ideally, go ahead and back off. Tier 2 tower has fallen. No towers remain. All that's left are the Firebirds and the Titan.
A couple wards on that in that lane there. That's just to see exactly where members of Elevate are. If they're going to be deep in the fights, you know, you want to have as much information as possible. Jumpahhh steals away the red buff, and Keegs is just looking to shred this middle Phoenix.
Nice taunt onto Bloakley, forcing out that purification. Meanwhile, in the back, Keegs was getting targeted, but now DineOhSaw getting targeted himself. Gonna get taken out by Keegs, and then there goes the rewind. Not in the storm. Styley able to take the snipes and take out McWafflez, but Bloakley gonna be another casualty, but as is Keegs.
No, Styley picks up the double. Hyperionnn 1 HP, not gonna be able to get out. Was that a reach from Rippin? Able to pick him up in the middle of the double dash. Nice play there, but Keegs dies, and immediately the rest of Elevate forced to retreat. That's the entire gameplay, and keep Keegs alive. They can't do so. I liked the idea from DineOhSaw, but you saw him flop in, and it's just him. He misses the flop. It's hard to flop on a Chronos that's got that accelerate pop, that has the wing blade for the extra movement speed. He's moving around at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You really gotta you have to be on point with that flop if you're gonna hit him. DineOhSaw misses, immediately just gets turned on by Keegs and Jumpahhh. They're both just hitting him with those autos. He dies pretty quickly, gets an Intoxicate off, but the rewind was perfectly timed from Keegs. They just committed a little bit too much to that Chronos, but yet again, Keegs dies with both relics available. He's trying to make these big plays like the hero ball, like I mentioned before the game, and sometimes it's working out, but sometimes it's not.
I mean, it works out for maybe 20-minute stretches, but then in the stretch when he's dead, these long respawn timers, there's absolutely nothing that Elevate can do, and because Cyclone get instantly trashed whenever there's a fight, they lost 3 members, there's nothing Cyclone could do. So you just have this stalemate of time, 41 minutes in, where you have to regroup. And you have the same thing happen with these big team fights as long as they keep picking off Keegs.
But that's a good thing in that last engagement, at least for Cyclone, because that was 4 members of Elevate with Fire Giant. It was only Jumpahhh who didn't have it, and they don't even lose a Phoenix. All they lose for that 37-minute Fire Giant is a tier 2 tower on the left, which, like I mentioned, is completely inconsequential at this point. The bad news for Cyclone is that they need a full team wipe in order to end the game, basically, because of the fact that there are still 3 towers and 3 Phoenixes, all full health for Elevate. They're going to need a lot of time and a lot of members to have enough structure damage and in just pure damage in order to push it down and get the win. So they really need to deicide Elevate without losing 1 or 2 members.
And time is literally not on their side because Keegs is playing Chronos. Plus, these respawn timers, if they lose 1 person, they're already heavily crippled against Elevate's team comp.
Because there's so much tower damage on their side, exactly. Elevate does not need a full team wipe in order to end the game because they've got the 2 objective damage dealers in Jumpahhh and Keegs on this Chronos, and then they've had the weakened Phoenix already, plus no towers means that they've got less health to deal with on that Titan.
Full build can Elevate, even if they lose 1 or 2 people, take 1 Phoenix and take the game.
It's a possibility. It just depends who it is. If you lose like DineOhSaw, you probably can, or possibly Hyperionnn as well.
Fire Giant gonna get started up again. They don't want to keep sieging unless they have that extra notch in their belt, but that is gonna bring Cyclone out from the woodwork. Ezzuna doing a good bit of damage, and DineOhSaw has that Magi's Blessing just to get up a little, soak up a little bit of CC.
And that's Reminisst's job now to get that bubble off of DineOhSaw. He's got to be looking for the Tectonic Rift to get that bubble off of him without blowing a very important CC. Looks like it's going to be taunt in from... Oh, hold that thought. Dunk in from Reminisst. Immediately gets Nemesis ulted. DineOhSaw finds a 3-man Intoxicate by the Fire Giant. Keys getting low, but gets the rewind off. All the while, McWafflez fighting on the right.
Let's listen in with Cyclone as they continue to try and clean up.
I'm going for there. Yeah. Guys, I got him. Guys, I'm in base. Nice job,
Back
base.
off.
Yeah.
Yo, back, heal. He's dead for 7
We're probably here. Yeah, we can get fire off that.
The next game. Let's go.
Athena ult. Athena ult. Get up buff. No. Fuck, boss.
We need to fight. Their Hulk's dead, boys.
Yeah.
Guys, Ezzuna, stop shouting. They can hear your comms.
Yeah, they can fucking hear you.
I know you're hyped as fuck, but they can hear you.
They better me.
Oh, my heal.
We need to go fight. I've got my ult. Flop anyone. Flop.
I'm not in range. Chronos uses 2. Back on fire.
I'm gonna send to the side.
Okay, I'm gonna zone.
Just look for the flop. They're looking for me.
They're doing speed. Guys, they're doing speed.
Yo, can you guys zone them?
Yeah, I'm zoning.
Chronos.
Nah, I missed.
Guys.
Nice job.
Nice.
Reset.
Dead. Jing.
I've got
I gotta reset.
Yeah, reset.
Run.
Everyone out. I can't get out.
I'm going Bob.
Nice!
Oh, unlucky me.
So close.
Oh, yes!
Back. Don't let him get the Phoenix. Don't let him get
Phoenix will go.
Again, Cyclone is just so close to being there. They make these good plays, and then just the hesitation around the Fire Giant takes them too long. They lose 4 members, but Hyperionnn makes a big play on the back end, picking up Keegs, and then DineOhSaw helps him out, finishing off Hyperionnn as well. They get the Fire Giant, but it's only on the support. They lose their middle Phoenix as well.
They're trying to stay calm, but you can hear him. You can hear him in that Steel series listening, just talking about how they can hear you if you keep yelling. They can hear you in the comms. You don't want to give anything away or show how hyped you are quite yet. This Phoenix is going to fall. DineOhSaw, the only one here to really help out, the only one alive to try and stop this onslaught. 27-22, 45 minutes and 15 seconds in. Elevate are poised and prime, waiting for the last opportunity to take down this Titan.
2 Phoenixes down now, and they've still got Jumpahhh and Keegs to respawn. Once they do, it's going to be a siege on that left-hand side for sure. There's no reason to even worry about the Fire Giant right now if you're Elevate, because you've got 2 waves of Fire Minions pushing down on the opposite end. You can just push down that left-hand side. You know that Cyclone has to make a choice. They have to either defend the Fire Waves and right, as you see DineOhSaw doing now, or they have to be there to stop you from getting that 3rd Phoenix. Because as we all know, whenever you get that 3rd Phoenix, that's like the nail in the coffin most times. Teams very, very rarely come back from losing all 3 Phoenixes.
I can think of maybe 2 instances, one of which being Orbit. Aside from that, it's so hard to come back, and every little bit that Elevate does is just another step in the wrong direction for CycloneGG. They can't even step out into their jungle without fear of being completely picked off. Even Reminisst, who was having such a hard time earlier on in the game, everything's so even with level now. Reminisst's going to be able to CC them down and then just chunk them with anything that he has in his kit.
But the game plan for Cyclone is still the same. Kill KeegsMate. That's the game plan. Kill the Chronos.
That's the nail in Elevate's coffin.
Yes, if they're able to find the early pick onto Chronos, it makes Elevate's team fight as a whole significantly worse. But they do have a late game Hunter who's got 2 crit items online that can make life difficult for them.
McWafflez soaking up a lot of damage, and meanwhile, Reminisst crashing on in. Zeus ultimate already been spent, and only a couple of ticks onto anybody. Jumpahhh able to take out Bloakley. The Intoxicate doing numbers, though, especially to Jumpahhh in the backline. Ezzuna trying to find him, but the nice juke shoes from Jumpahhh gonna keep him alive for now. Styley, however, not gonna be alive. Reminisst gonna be able to take him out. Reminisst taking out another one. Hyperionnn gonna fall. Jumpahhh is down, but the Titan is still being being aggressed on.
Keegs gets the rewind off. He's full health. He's here to kill the Titan. The Keegs show happens for Elevate. It takes 47 minutes plus, but they're going to be able to find their first point of the weekend, it looks like.
Slowly but surely, they're still waiting on it to happen. Athena coming in as well, 25%. There it goes. First game, gonna go down.
I mean, we talked about it right away. During the draft, during the pregame, it's what can Keegs do in this matchup? And Keegs just did all of the damage that Elevate needed. But he has to be careful, man, because some of that decision-making that he was doing, I mean, we saw him accelerate into 3 members by their blue buff, by the rest of his team was by Fire Giant. He's got to clean that up if Elevate wants to get their next win.
Great win either way, so much back and forth drama, but how dangerous is it to have your comp centered around one person that will hopefully carry the entire way?
It can be a problem because we saw as soon as Cyclone's able to pick him off, the rest of the team fight for Elevate just kind of falls apart. But, I mean, if you can get ahead like Keegs did, I mean, doubling the damage of everyone else in the game since like 15, 17 minutes in the game.
He ended with like almost 60,000.
It was crazy.
He ended with almost 60,000 damage. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's what you pick him for, man. That's why you pick the late game thing for Keegs. That's why, you know, they were picking Neath for him a little bit during the online stages, and it didn't feel right because this is the kind of stuff that Keegs can do if you give him the late game god.
Well, you had a lot to say about the match. I'm sure the analysts do too. Take it away, Adonis.
The King Show. I mean, that's what else is there really to say here? Shoutouts to Scuff as well, guys. ScuffGaming.com/s/Smite. You can get that really cool controller. A couple of the players here are playing with it. They've been using Scuff. It does seem to enhance their gameplay with those extra paddles.
You might be able to play like KeegsMate that last game, playing the Chronos just so beautifully.
That's the dream.
Like, he died at the beginning of the game, granted. He got first blooded at like level 3 or 4, something like that. And from there on out, though, he was left untouched after that point in time. Like, the only person next to him in player damage was Bloakley on the Zeus. And even then, he was like 20 or 25,000 less player damage.
Watson, how do you feel about Keegs' gameplay?
That was crazy, honestly. Like, that Chronos needs to be banned next game. Definitely.
I also feel like it's a little bit on Cyclone. I mean, we've seen Keegs, like a lot of people, at least in the North American scene, know how good Keegs is when it comes to the mechanical ability, but what they also know is that Keegs is pretty confident in his own play, where he's pushed up to towers, making all these plays, and they do like to rotate and kind of shut him down. We didn't really see that from Cyclone.
No, not at all. And this is his god. He's been playing this god in the PC side of things, always picking this god in duels, left, right, and center. So I definitely want to see the adaptation coming out of CycloneGG in game number 2 by banning away that Chronos.
Definitely.
And Reminisst also playing a pretty solid Thor overall, I would say. We saw him kind of set the pace of the game. I mean, really, in the end, it was the Keegs show, but Reminisst did a good job of controlling the flow of these fights as well, hitting these dunks, hitting really nice stuns as well, and setting up and really being another frontliner that allowed Keegs to make these plays.
He's definitely shown up, I would say, today more so than the other days, where he's been able to be a little bit more impactful whenever he can, especially that last time he was playing Bastet, just not having the same kind of presence, and this time he's not the one reacting to the plays, he's the one actually engaging and making them.
I was about to say, that's one of the most important things is we're seeing, you know, when he can get rolling, what this guy can do. Unfortunately, Elevate not going to be able to make it now, but if we saw this kind of aggressive tendency from him in, you know, day 1 or 2, I mean, maybe Elevate's in a different spot.
I mean,